Welcome back to part 10. Listen to that. Oh, it's beautiful. So this episode is titled Making Things Better, and where we left off in part 9 was these some rusty bits to deal with. It was looking pretty bad, but we got in there, got on it, peeled back the lip, cut that out, and then trimmed it back down so it was an easier shape to replace the metal with. I've got that new bit welded in. Okay, it's not pretty, but it works. I can't record the whole thing because I'm running out of memory rapidly. So I've just pulled everything out of here, and I'm going to clean all this up with some heavy duty stuff. And I'm going to clean it up with the wire wheel, and then I'm going to clean it up with the acid, and then I can paint it. To be fair though, what looks like rust isn't rust, it was just dirt, so it cleaned up really well. As you can see, look at that, spotless. I wouldn't want to eat my dinner off it, but you know, get the idea. The silver is an American product called Rust Bullet that I just chucked on. That was about 3 years ago. It's good stuff. So then I got it in with the acid, and then the wire wheel, and then I could start giving it a dusting off with primer, and then a few coats of basic black. Just makes it look a lot cleaner and a lot better. The other side obviously in a similar state, but although it wasn't as rusty as the left side, it cleaned up really well, quite quickly. Wasn't a problem. I even managed to get that boot trim in that goes in front of the fuel tank. I was going to build a firewall there, but what's the point if I'm going to box all that turbo stuff in with steel anyway? It doesn't need an extra firewall, so it'll be fine. We've had some leaks from the internal wastegate, which is more evident here. Now all that was holding this closed was this spring, to be fair. Just pulling on it with whatever tension that spring. Obviously I'm going to change that and permanently close it off. Now this turbo didn't come with a gasket for here. I have now got this gasket with no hole in it. And my theory is that this wastegate permanently closed heavily onto this should prevent any more leaks from there. I'm going to replace this turbo with something bigger and better, and with no internal wastegate. Now it does need opening up because it's not made very well. So I'm going to open this up now. So with that opened up now, there's no step in or out of there, and a fairly simple solution to keeping that wastegate shut: just bolt it down. Now moving on to the reason why we was only getting 2.5 psi of boost. There's a 7-pound spring in this wastegate, which means that the exhaust pressure is pushing that open. You can see it's been working, and again I was quite happy with it to only make very little boost, just while I was testing the whole thing out. So now I can put a bigger spring in there and start upping the boost. One of the problems that I had was, well, not really a problem, but these Chinese turbos, you've got to finish making them. There's some big casting marks here sticking out. There's making the hose, you know, giving it the opportunity to not sit properly. So I've just cleaned all that off, and most of the casting marks. I mean, you could go in there and sort all that stuff out, and there's also plenty of stuff to look at in there to I mean, look how far you could open that up. Can't see very well, can you? So let's see if I can. Yes, there's lots that could be done in there. So, you know, for the money, see the hardware. This is my, yeah, but anyway, I'll get the right size stuff eventually. For the money, you can't complain. Cheap turbos. It's doing alright though, it's doing okay. So that pipe looked a lot worse in the photo that connected the bottom of the oil pump. It has expanded and the oil has attacked it, which I knew it was going to, but to be fair, I mean, it's quite soft and pliable now, and it wasn't the ideal solution, but it fitted and it worked. You know, it did 100 miles. So I'd replaced all that rubber pipe with this copper pipe and some fittings. But as you'll see, I've changed tactic with this, and this is going to be pretty much probably going in the bin now, but you'll see in a minute. I thought in future, if we ever have a breakdown situation, considering I can take the turbo off in less than 5 minutes, I've got this link pipe that I can just bob in, put on. Good idea, I thought, and then I'm not killing myself with fumes when I have to pull that off and run without a turbo, and it means it can be run naturally aspirated if I choose. There you go, temporary turbo bypass pipe. A quick 10-minute job for a bit of peace of mind. So this is one thing I've been wanting to try. This is an electric power steering pump, and I wanted to come up with a solution that's, you know, better than gears and wiper motors, stuff like that. This is designed to be running all the time the engine's on anyway, and I want to see if I can get it to work. Now what we've got here is a bit of a mess, but I've basically recirculated its own oil back into the pot, and then I've taken a pipe out that I want to feed into the turbo so I can control the pressure with that valve. Sounds fairly simple. Now this gauge goes up to 1500 psi, so I've adjusted the relief spring in the pump itself, so hopefully it shouldn't go much further than maybe 50 psi, hopefully. As you can see from this photo, I've managed to stabilize it somewhere at, I'm guessing somewhere around 50 psi. It's difficult to see on that gauge. So next thing is to try it. Okay, we're hooked up, we're rolling. Our excess is coming through here and back into the pump. It's just running free at the minute, but I'm getting 3 psi at the turbo. Well, not at the turbo, at the oil filter housing and oil pressure switch. I'll show you where that goes. It comes out of the garage on this wire and connects to the oil pressure switch and an earth, and then we get 3 psi on the gauge. So we have got oil coming out of the turbo, but only a smidge. Remember, this holds only about 500 ml of oil. So now, if I start closing this recirculation off, I just close it off a little bit, and the needle's moved just a smidge on there. So let's go see what we've got now. And we're getting 8, 7 and 8. I'll close it off a bit more, 15, 16, so 1 bar of oil pressure. Obviously, we've still got a red light on. And the motor physically sounds a little bit more laboured. Not much though. So now it's slowed it down a bit more. And we've got 25 psi. We're doing our lockdown stuff. 27. 25, 27. And that's about ideal where I want it there. Obviously, when it gets hot, it's going to lower the pressure, so I can just turn it up a bit more. This is ideal. And it's really small. Hopefully it'll all fit. So that's great. I'm well happy. Let's go see what the oil's like coming out of the turbo. If I can see, this is going to be a disaster. What kind of flow we've got. Yeah, we've got flow. So we're not using that oil now, it's just recirculating. Before I just had a container under the turbo. So yeah, this is good. No heat from the motor. I've simplified that considerably, but I'm going to, obviously, to put it in the car, it's going to need to be a little bit more different. So yeah, as long as I don't knock this and whack it up, because I don't want to blow it past the seals. But yeah, it's good. All good. No leaks. Good stuff. Oh, I'm so happy. Ecstatic.